Hello and welcome to today's edition of Road 664, the Road to Human Kindness. I'm joined this morning by my two favorite ladies in the world, except for my wife.
Thank you.
My wife is most favorite.
Yay.
But I've got Jackie Farnham and Wanda Miles, the two very important ladies that work very, very hard to make Endow America what it is today and have worked to make it what it is today. We've been around for a long time. We've been around since 2008. And Jackie Farnham was one of the original parts of Endow America. She was actually part of Advisors in Philanthropy Foundation when it started in 2008. I met Jackie at conferences, and we had a mutual friend, very dear friend, Bob Thompson, who's passed away. And Bob was very instrumental also in the charitable and the philanthropic planning field. Had his own show in Connecticut. And we've been working together at this as two minds working on the same issue. How do we get everybody to understand what 664 is, and how do we get people to understand what social charity is, and what does it mean to Endow America? So, Jackie, thank you for joining us today on Road 664, the Road to Human Kindness.
Thank you for having me, Les. I'm so grateful to be here and so excited to talk about Endow America.
Good. So we've been dealing with a lot of, means and at the end, trying to get to the end result of endowing America. So what does that mean to you, endowing America?
Well, that means that the nonprofits don't have to pound the pavement all the time to get their funding. And this is really important because they spend a lot of time and a lot of money to raise money. Mm-hmm. And so if they had an endowment, like most of the all universities have, the nonprofits wouldn't have to spend their time and money raising money. And this is one way they can do it is with social charity. And so it's very important to be teaching this to not only the advisors, but the nonprofit executives.
You've had a lot of experience with advisors, with organizations. You are an administrator for other organizations in addition to Endow America Network Foundation. What is your thoughts about how much they embrace philanthropic planning? Do you think they do enough of it?
No.
Why is that?
Well, let me just say, I represent organizations, estate planners. For 28 years, I managed the Financial Planning Association of Connecticut. So I have a really good idea of the education that is provided to them, at least in Connecticut and nationally, mm-hmm. and for the estate planners. But I also manage the charitable gift planners of Connecticut. So I see the nonprofit end as well. So it's, all of them, they're using DAFs. I mean,
What's DAF?
Donor advised funds.
Okay.
And, but not as many using the what we call social charity tools, or what they may know as split interest trust. I know a lot of the financial planners would use that terminology.
Split interest trust.
Right. Yeah. Where the interest charitable split interest trust, mm-hmm. where the charity gets part interest, but also the donor gets part interest in that trust. And that's what you call, endowment squared. Mm-hmm. They might call split interest trust. We call it endowment squared.
So the first time you heard me say the theory of social charity was 664 equals E squared, you said he's doing it again.
I remember that meeting.
Yeah.
The creative genius. That's what we look at you. You come up with these ideas.
It's like you're driving down the road and, here we go down the swerve.
Yeah.
You're swerving off the road again. But it's always an adventure.
Well, we want to get the idea across, and it's not easy.
No.
Everybody knows what numbers are. 401k, for example, or 529. They know those numbers. Do they know why they know those numbers?
Because they have plans.
Yeah.
For them with their financial
planners.
Yeah, and their financial planners are talking to them about that. In fact, one of the financial planners I was working with said, we don't talk about charity. We really, all my clients want to talk about is their child education funding and their retirement funding. And so the topic's not really broached very often with clients and their financial advisors.
Well, the word endowment is not used that often.
No,
Okay.
never.
And we know endowment is what we're planning for. So give me your, what do you see as the future of this project from the standpoint of communities? How is it going to help the communities benefit by people using 664 and using social security in that term?
Well, it benefits the donor, helps them save taxes, especially in an event where they're liquidating non-cash assets that are highly appreciated in value. So it really benefits them. But also, I mean, the charities, a lot of the charities, these planned gifts, I don't think they're putting enough time into because they don't see it as immediate cash, an immediate gift. It's an endowment gift, and they have to look at it that way.
So do you think that nonprofits, because they look at it as a future gift, they don't do much planning? They're not able to focus on it as much?
Well, I think that the small to medium nonprofits, that's true. Of course, the larger ones are accepting non-cash assets and doing that kind of planning and endowing their organization. So it's the small to medium. And those are the charities that are going to be hit hardest by the government's pullback on their funding for charities.
So the government does fund charities. I was listening today to the news, and they were talking about the University of Pennsylvania, for example, gets, I don't know, $650 billion, a big number from the government, and yet they have a huge endowment. They have a tremendous endowment that could support for a lot. I see that Harvard University, for example, they're using their endowment now to help people who are, if they give kids scholarships so they can get to Harvard even if they can't afford it, if the family earns under $120,000. So some of them are using their endowment now to do a better job, the bigger organizations. But every organization should have an endowment, and that's what we're all about. That's what Endow America is all about.
But a lot of those endowments are funded by bequests. And I was at a meeting recently where I was talking to a large university planned giving officer about taking gifts of real estate. And they don't do that often. I think he said he only did it once, in his time, 20 years there. So even the larger nonprofits sometimes still need this information. It's critical. And what we're doing here now, when we broadened our mission to include public education, so hopefully what our goal is to not only teach these advisors and these nonprofit executives, these planned giving officers, but also the general public, so that they're asking them about it, so that they're aware of it. So when it comes up, when they have a financial trigger, let's say, where they could use this, they'll know to ask.
A tax problem.
Yes. Okay. And, I've asked accountants, do you know what 664 is? And they don't. A few, But then I've also given a presentation to what was the financial service professionals in Connecticut, and had one of the top attorneys do the technical end of it. And I had Phil Kubetta with American College CAP program come in and also talk in the third hour. But the financial service professionals, mostly insurance, financial planners, they were just had no idea about this type of planning and what 664 meant. And it all kind of clicks. I had one woman come up to me and ask me for more information. She was intrigued by it, really, a financial planner, wanted more information. And she is a CFP.
So let's talk about endowment engineering, because that's another thing that we created. But endowment engineers, one of the things that you do is you monitor and you control the membership of the endowment engineer, the Society of Endowment Engineers. That's a new society that we created.
We're building.
And so tell me, how do people find out about the endowment engineers? How can we help the public learn about the endowment engineers and who they are and where they can find them and how they can help them.
Our organization website is endowamericanetwork.org, and on there's an advisor search. They can search that and see if someone's close by to them, but even if they're not, they can get a consult by Zoom now. So that's where we're building our list of endowment engineers who are qualified to do this type of planning.
And how are we qualifying?
Well, there's a couple different ways. It could be their experience. It could be that they have their chartered advisor in philanthropy, which you and I both have, and that's offered by American College. And now it could be that they've taken our coursework, Discovery 664 Academy.
At discovery664.com. Yay.
So basically, we have two websites. Discovery 664 is one of our programs. It's a project that we're working on.
Okay.
It's our main project, right?
Yes.
It's our top priority right now.
And the reason?
To educate everybody.
You.
Everybody. You don't have to have any special background to want to know more. You can use it as often as you want. Within it's a monthly subscription. You can stop it at any time once you have what you need, or you can continue it. And I would say one of the best advantages of it is going to be your mentoring.
Well, thank you.
Yes, Les has been my mentor.
Thank you.
And taught me a lot. It still teaches me a lot.
Well, you're learning because you're doing the test questions. So
that's true. I am creating the test questions.
Yeah, and the thing about
I know all the answers.
So also don't forget we're creating ambassadors, people that will be out there who can you can be an ambassador, and as an ambassador, you can spread the word about 664, about the course Discovery 664 Academy, and becoming an ambassador to help the community, help people that you know that might have issues like this. They can also learn at the same place that you're learning. And if you want to carry it further, you can become an endowment engineer and become part of the Society of Endowment Engineers, and you can be managed by Jackie. Jackie will take care of your entry into the system, take care of identifying you, building your bio, to let people know that you're an endowment engineer, that you're professional. So, and we've talked about this before.
I have a suggestion too. I think it's good, suggest it to the teenagers in your family, if they're good in math, or, maybe could think of a career in the family, keeping it in the family for the legacy aspect of it. And then because it's a new thing, it's a new career. And for the youngsters, give them something to be part of the family for. This kid's going to know the family future financial triggers. I like that. The financial, and start smoothing out those triggers, especially the financial ones, and it gives the kids something to do. The youngsters, they're not kids, 18ish, 19ish.
Well, they could be younger.
Yeah,
we can start with 13-year-olds.
Well, I don't know about that, because then
13-year-olds are ready to learn.
Yeah, they are.
Everything.
Sure, they are. What do I know?
They know more than their parents. So anyway, we're in a world of technology, and technology has helped everybody become more aware of what these things can do and how they can be used. And technology is a big part of the endowment engineering process because it involves blueprints. The blueprints are important. I know we've gone through several adaptations of the blueprints. My initial drawing of the stick figure didn't work very well, but
I think it helps the donor and the financial planner if they see it visually in a blueprint. And I might add that the financial planners, a lot of firms don't have in-house somebody who specializes in this, and that's where you can help, advance your career. The financial planners, they're worried about keeping assets under management, but what they don't know is this, our Social Security tools keeps the assets under management. And so that is a fact that we need to communicate to the financial planners as well. And when a donor is doing this kind of planning, they can still use their own financial planner, still use their own attorneys and advisors, and add on an endowment engineer if they have charity in their heart, if they want to be, if that's important to them. To leave something behind to their community.
Yeah, the endowment part of it, the endowment engineering part of it, and the point that people need to understand that endowment applies to them. When the financial advisor is telling them, the financial advisor wants to keep assets under management, so they're managing people's money to make it grow and to become greater than it was and to return value to the individual. And most of the time that's going to be income that the fund is going to produce. Well, that's an endowment. That's an endowment income. And what they don't necessarily get is that that's what we're really trying to build is the income, the endowment income, not just the value, because you can build assets that are worth, multi-billions of dollars and not have any income coming from it. Doesn't mean anything. You can't eat dirt. And that's one of the things that we want to get across to the advisors. The advisors need to be broader. I think financial advice, in my experience as a financial advisor, has been to bring in the philanthropic part, because it makes you more holistic with the client, because you're really talking about everything. Right. I tell clients that I think they would like their great-grandchildren to know who their great-grandfather was. And that's what you do. You create this kind of a legacy by building this. So it's important that people have a resource. And what I wanted to do is introduce you to our listeners and to let them know that there is very substantial direction going on in our organization, that this is not something that's just been created out of thin air. It's been around a long time.
Overnight
years.
Success, they call us.
Right. Yeah.
Since 2008, Endow America has been a nonprofit, started as Advisors in Philanthropy Foundation, and grew. We provided 100 scholarships with our initial gift.
That's what we were doing initially.
Yeah. And for
who was the late?
Eva Mardner. Provided a gift because she wanted more advisors like you. I love that. And we were able to provide 100 scholarships for the Chartered Advisor and Philanthropy Program. And I was a beneficiary of one of those scholarships. And I completed that training as well. And when I was done with it, it was excellent. The program's excellent. But at the end of it, I didn't feel like I had the tools to actually go out and create the contracts and the clientele. And that's where I think the need is still that we're filling. Mm-hmm. We are going to be providing those tools to anyone who becomes an endowment engineer on discovery664.com.
Right. One of the things we're including is a means to get the clientele to the point where the clientele understand why they should be doing what we're suggesting doing with philanthropy. It's much easier for people to want something than to try and push something on them. And that's what this is really all about. You should want what we're doing. You should want 664 to be part of your financial planning. In fact, one of the 5 documents that we think you should have, one of the 5 documented things that you can create is the charitable remainder trust, having a 664 trust available at any time so that if you do have a situation arise where you need to do some tax planning, you can do it because you have that trust in place. But in order to create that trust, it shouldn't be so hard. It shouldn't be as difficult as it's been. There aren't that many trusts in the country. I think there's only like 180,000 charitable remainder trusts.
And how many DAFs are there?
DAFs there are a lot of. Yeah.
There's a lot. And that, you're giving away the total asset when you put your asset into a DAF or you contribute to a DAF. And with these tools,
it's a donor advised fund. We're using those. We think
I keep using DAF.
Daffy Duck.
Sorry about that.
Daffy. It's really it's an important thing to be aware of because the donor advised fund is a very powerful tool, but it's not as powerful as 664. as a social security tool, because the social security tool gives you back income. A donor advised fund allows you to direct the money into charitable organizations that you want to direct it to, but no income comes back to you. You get a different tax deduction, but there's a difference in the planning. So that's one of the reasons why it's so important for advisors to become endowment engineers, for them to become more broad-based in that sense.
Especially right now, we're in the middle of what Paul Shervish from Boston College, I believe he's with, documented wealth, which is the great wealth transfer.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the middle of it. It's already begun. And so there's families that are going to be receiving a lot of wealth from the great generation. And so that's a financial trigger. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's when this kind of planning comes into play. And also, the other thing that's happening right now, again, is the government pullback on government funding for nonprofits. So it's the perfect storm, I think, for this information to really get out there. And we're doing that. We're getting that information out there now in Discovery 664, very accessible and easy to use. So
and I
really
think
excited about it.
People would like to see our podcasts. They can go to our podcast channel on Spotify and watch the Endowment Vision Part 1, and now we're beginning Part 2. And it's an opportunity for all of you to be able to understand what the overall theme of what it is that we're trying to do. We want to endow America. We want to endow the individual, and then when the individual passes, the individual can endow the community. And we do that in a way. We have something like that now with Social Security. Social Security is an endowment. And what's the problem with it?
What is it? The problem?
Where do you start?
Okay.
Yeah. What's the problem with it? It may not be there for some people down the road. There's a lot of talk about
Not
that.
so secure.
It's not so secure.
Right. And
What
what's the difference, though, between Social Security and Social Security? They're very similar in name, but there's a major difference. It's test.
There will be a test.
There will be a test.
Well, the test is the government gets your money if you
At the end of the day.
end of the day,
At the end.
and especially if you pass early, the government gets your money. And with this type of planning, the charity that you choose or charities that you choose, they benefit.
Do you want the government to get your money? That's all I'm saying.
Well, they get it. You have no choice, actually. With Social Security, you have no choice. But Social Security, you're limited.
Yeah.
And with Social Security, you're unlimited in what you can put into your endowment and what you can create in size and scope as to what you can get back as income. And that income can be lasting for your life and for the life of your spouse, and maybe even for your children. It depends on how you set it up. And that's what's so important about the endowment engineering part of this, is that you actually have to be able to fit the device to the situation, and that takes engineering. And so the blueprints are very important, and a way for you to communicate that to your advisors, so your advisors have an understanding of what it is that you're doing and why you should be doing it, and then your advisors can help you. Your CPA is not really equipped to do endowment engineering because they're not doing the planning in the same way. A lot of times they're reporting and they're doing, after the fact bookkeeping. So when we talk about tax planning actually begins in the year that you're in, not after the year is over. So we want you to be aware of that. Most importantly, at this time of the year, it's a good time to start tax planning and thinking about what you're going to do. Have an idea what your income might be going forward, and you have to start looking at ways to eliminate tax if you're going to be making changes, if you're going to be selling things, you're going to do things that will make your endowment more secure or endowment less taxed. That's a very important part of this whole planning prospect. So we have your attorneys are also advisors, and your attorneys are going to document what you're going to do. Then you have your insurance agent, you have your real estate agent, you have your financial planner. Those are all folks who help you
Jeez, you have a lot
in
of
this
folks.
process. Huh?
You've got a lot of folks.
A lot of
A
advice.
lot of folks, yeah.
Can't you just get an endowment engineer and just be done with all that?
Well, the reason the endowment engineer is so powerful is that the endowment engineer basically has the position of directing what's happening and helping you get what you want. And there's a lot of times where I've seen folks go to an attorney and say, I want a charitable trust. And they create a charitable trust, and the attorney creates it the way that the attorney thinks that it should be created, but that's not the way it should be done in your particular situation, because you don't know if it's going to be an annuity trust or a unit trust or a make-up provision or no make-up provision, or should be a net income, or it should be a flip trust. All those things are definitions of trusts, but they fit different situations. And maybe it's not a trust maybe it's not a charitable remainder trust. Maybe it should be a pooled income fund, or maybe it should be a charitable gift annuity. It depends on where you are in the game. I always use that with Trish when Trish was learning how to play canasta. She said, "You want to come along and learn?" I said, "Okay." And I went along to learn canasta, and every time I would ask the teacher a question about what you do,
it's always a lesson.
It's a lesson, yeah. When you do what you do, she said, it all depends on where you are in the game, and that's the way it is here. Depends on where you are in the game. So, Jackie, what do you think about Miami?
Oh,
yes.
Well, it is paradise. I loved. It's my first time to Miami, and absolutely
First time
to Miami.
Wow.
I've been to Florida, but
Yeah.
first time to Miami.
Well, it's a whole other
Miami
world
Beach.
here.
Oh, it's I'm so grateful to be here right now.
All right. And you're taking a cruise?
And I'm taking a cruise.
Where are you going?
I'm on Blues Live at Sea,
Oh, boy.
which is a Joe Bonamassa cruise.
How many bands?
So excited. Oh, gosh.
Just one or several?
Several. I have too many to name, but my three top, Samantha Fish, Larkin Poe, and Joanna Shaw Taylor, the girls that I'm going to go and learn from.
Gonna check
Good.
them. Oh, their classes too?
No, I have a list of questions. I'm going to ask
Jackie.
them.
She's so prepared.
I'm prepared to learn from them. And
Good for you.
Yeah, so I'm very excited about that. And Miami, you are all so lucky.
Wouldn't it be cool if you got stranded out at sea
No.
with the blues players? Oh, how cool. For just a little bit. We'll come get you.
Yeah.
We'll come fetch you.
But I definitely see why people live here. I see why people visit here.
Die here.
Oh, it's just gorgeous. Yeah, absolutely love it.
Okay. So,
It's a great place to die.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. It's
Make sure you have a 664 before you go.
And also, one of our programs we didn't mention was the radio program that.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah.
Jazz. Love the jazz. I'm learning so much about jazz music. So if you'd like to participate in my education, find us on Facebook and leave me a request. I'm trying to learn and listen to every jazz song ever written.
And does an amazing job putting together very interesting and very listenable shows on the themes. Are really great.
Trying to have themes.
Yeah. Route 664. Go get the app on.
Tonight's theme is This Week in Jazz.
Okay.
And history.
Very good.
So, yeah.
All right, so Jackie,
Yes.
thank you very much for joining us today
My
on Route
pleasure.
664, Road to Mackay.
Do you know how long it's been since we've been in the same room together?
Wait a minute now.
Oh, boy.
Just a second here.
Since the Conference on Philanthropy
Yeah, it's been a long time.
in 2012.
Well, we used to do talent shows.
Oh,
We
you
used
know?
to do the
What?
Yeah, we
fundraisers.
used to do fundraisers, talent shows,
Talent
and
shows.
fundraisers.
we need to do that again.
Yeah, and we
It was a lot
Right
of
after
fun.
the golf
and
thing.
we never, you and I never won.
We were hosting. It
Aw.
would have been fixed.
Yeah, I wouldn't have
Yeah.
Exactly. But it was good. We did
so much talent.
And we did raise some money there,
Right.
but not like what we were raising through our pool.
And that's a very important point, because we are actually living proof as an organization. Endow American Network Foundation has grown substantially as a result of using social charity as a means of our fundraising. And we are so proud of that we make it available to any other organization to do the same thing that we're doing using our pooled income fund system. Our pooled income fund is a strategic way for you to build endowment and also to get current funding for your organization. And we make it very easy for you as a turnkey operation. You can also, financial advisors can also benefit from it, keeping assets under management. Doesn't change any of the relationships. All it does is it gives the public, your donors, a way for them to give you money and be happy about it.
How can they find out
Really
about
amazing.
more of that?
They're happy about giving you money, but I mean, really be happy about it, because they're going to get income back, and you're going to be getting current money and future money. So
Where do they find out more about that address?
at discovery664.com.
Oh, yeah.
How about
Take
that?
a visit. And if you want to listen to some music and find out more, route664.org. I think we're done.
I do too.
All right.
Thank you very much for joining us today. We'll see you again next week. Have a great week.
Thank you.